knew before that Ramadan fasting also could influence the mood and mental health issue. So here we use BDI2, Back Depression Inventory. This is one type of psychometric. Hi, today I would like to share the information of the effect of intermittent fasting on our body. This based on our study that we have done in 2015 and 2017 in Germany. This will be interesting for us, particularly Muslim who observe the Ramadan fasting. As I mentioned before, that this was based on study that have been conducted in Germany, particularly in the city of Hanover. First, I would like to explain about the fasting. So we will have similar at the same level of the definition of the fasting itself. And then fasting in different religions. And I will explain a little bit about the type of the intermittent fasting itself and the effect of fasting on health based on our research in Germany. And we can conclude in the end. Yeah, I took the definition of fasting based on dictionary.com. It is a type of verb which is used without an object. It means to abstain from all food. And it also has second definition. It is to eat only sparingly or of certain kinds of food, especially as a religious observance. Meanwhile, because this study was done in medical school, in Hanover Medical School, we also took the definition of fasting based on medical dictionary. Based on this dictionary, first definition is voluntarily not eating food for varying lengths of time. And then fasting is also used as a medical therapy for many conditions. If you may be one of the sick person that were as inpatients in hospital, maybe some physician also ask you to do fasting. And then it is also defined as a spiritual practice in many religions. Now, as I mentioned before, it is practiced in many religions. Let's see what other religions say about the fasting. We know I only took several religions here as a representative. First is Buddha. We know that the Buddhists also perform fasting. It is said because usually on full moon days and other holidays. And usually they abstain from solid food, but some liquids permitted. And they do it because of the method of purification. Meanwhile, Hindu, they also have, usually they do it during the new moon days and during festivals such as Sivaratri, Saraswati Puja, and Durga Puja. And then this fasting, the Hindus may involve 24 hours of complete abstinence from any food or drink, but it is also almost similar to Buddha, mostly often an elimination of solid foods. And it also to enhance concentration during meditation or worship. Before going on to the Jewish or the Christians, let's take a look into their holy books. This is from the Old Testament in the book of Exodus 34:28. It is mentioned about the fasting of Moses for 40 days and 40 nights without eating bread or drinking. And then in the New Testament, in the book of Luke and in Matthew also, you can find it. Actually, it is where here Jesus was tempted by the devil for 40 days and he ate nothing during those days. These are only the examples. So you also can find another verse in Bibles about the story of fasting. So now we're going to the Protestant. And in Protestant, they also do fasting at the discretion of individuals, churches, organizations, and communities. How they fast? Actually, though some people abstain from food or drink entirely, others drink only water or juice, eat only certain food, and sometimes they only use why they really like. For example, they forbid during these days. And then fasting is for spiritual nourishment for them. In Catholic, they also do it, for example, on Ash Wednesday and Good Friday. Yeah, and then all Fridays in Lent, for example. Yeah, how they fast are different. You can see here, but mostly, yeah, here to control of fleshly desires, penance for sins, and solidarity with the poor, and prepares for the soul for a great feast by practicing austerity. And Good Friday fast commemorate the day Christ suffered. In Eastern Orthodox, they also have, for example, in Lent, Apostle fast, Dormition fast, and the Nativity fast, and several one-day fasts. They also, in general, meat, dairy products, and eggs are prohibited, but fish is prohibited on some fast days and allowed on the others. And this is to strengthen resistance to gluttony, helps open a person to God's grace. In Jewish, they also have fasting. For example, Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement, and it's the best known fast day. The Jewish calendar has 6 other days, fast days as well. Yeah. Most of the Eastern Orthodox fasting and Jewish are studied, and you can find the publication related to health in some of the journal, if you can try to Google it. And then in Islam, as we know, Islam has 2 types of fasting, obligatory and voluntarily. Obligatory, for example, is Ramadan. Yeah, this is done at the 9th month of Islamic lunar calendar. And it is abstaining from food and drink completely during the month of Ramadan from dawn to dusk, from Fajr to Maghrib. And we know it is one of pillar of Islam, Rukun Islam. It is also, of course, to get the taqwa or piousness or closeness to God. And then as a voluntarily, it can be Monday and Thursday, or Daud fasting or David fasting, which is one after the other. And the rule is similar to the Ramadan fasting. It is from Fajr to Maghrib, but it is done in different day. For example, for Monday and Thursday, so it is every Monday and every Thursday. Meanwhile, Daud or David fasting is every other day. And similar to the obligatory, the aim is to the piousness or taqwa or closeness to God. Meanwhile, in Mormon, they also have their own fasting. Usually, first Sunday of each month is a fast day, and usually abstaining from food and drink for 2 consecutive meals and donating food or money to the needy. And it is also for the closeness to God. Pagan, they also have their own fast, but of course, no organized fast days. It is depend on their paganship itself, and then at the discretion of the individual. Why they fast? It is intended to purify a person energetically. Let's see different type of intermittent fasting. But before going on, I would like to explain the difference between intermittent fasting and calorie restriction. In intermittent fasting, we usually have the periodical of without eating or drinking or anything that you define by yourself. Yeah. In the end, with a decreased caloric consumption. For example, the most popular one is 16-8 intermittent fasting. It means 16 hours without food, for example, and then 8 hours you can eat anything. And then for calorie restriction, you also aim to reduce calorie intake below the needed calorie intake to maintain weight, but there is no periodical of fasting. So you still can have breakfast, lunch, and also dinner. In intermittent fasting, usually you skip, for example, lunch. So only from, for example, morning until evening without anything, and then evening to morning again you can eat. That's why Ramadan fasting is similar to intermittent fasting. However, mostly Ramadan fasting not focusing on caloric deficit. So now we are going to the different type of intermittent fasting. There are many types of intermittent fasting. It depends on which literature that you are following. I like to cite this Professor Madsen. He works as a neuroscientist at Johns Hopkins University. He divided intermittent fasting into three. The first is alternate day fasting. It implies fasting up to 24 hours from 1 to 4 days a week. Meanwhile, the 5-2 diet follow similar to the alternate day fasting method, where fasting is performed non-sequential twice a week. So actually, the alternate day fasting, it is almost similar to the Daud fasting of Islam. And then the 5-2 diet is almost similar to the Monday to Thursday fasting. The 5-2 diet means in 5 days, people do fasting for 2 days, for example, like that. And then the other is time restricted feeding. I already mentioned before. It suggests one meal intake, typically early in the morning, with abstaining from food intake between 16 to 18 hours a day. Yeah, this, for example, 16 hours without any food or 18 hours without any food, and the rest from the 24 hours you can eat anything, but mostly they focusing on the caloric deficit. Yeah, now I would like to show you some of the good effect of intermittent fasting on health. The first one related to the obesity, diabetes mellitus, cardiovascular disease. Let's see. In a multi-center study, it showed that daily calorie restriction improves many cardiometabolic risk factors in non-obese humans. And then another study, which is 6 short-term studies involving overweight or obese adults, have shown that intermittent fasting is as effective for weight loss as standard diets. So overweight and obese usually defined as where the people have a BMI, body mass index, more than 25. And then the daily caloric restriction or intermittent fasting, which is 24-hour fasting 3 times a week, what they did here could also reverse insulin resistance in patients. Yeah. Of course, in patients with diabetes. And then intermittent fasting reduces also weight loss and insulin requirement in diabetic patients, both in type 1 and type 2. This is very interesting study. Now, it also can reduce marker of systemic inflammation and oxidative stress that are associated with atherosclerosis, and reduce inflammatory marker in cardiovascular diseases. We know that in this type of disease, usually pro-inflammatory cytokines particularly are increased, and fasting can attenuate this type of markers. And also it can improve peripheral and central blood pressure control in hypertensive patients with and without chronic kidney diseases. Not only to the metabolic syndrome disease, intermittent fasting also can influence cancer. Yeah, for example, one study show, but this is an animal study, to be honest, not in patient yet. Alternative day fasting reduces the occurrence of spontaneous tumors during normal aging in rodents and suppresses the growth of many types of induced tumors while increasing their sensitivity to chemotherapy and irradiation. So fasting can increase sensitivity to chemotherapy and also irradiation, and also can suppress the spontaneous tumors during normal aging in rodents. And then patients with glioblastoma is a type of wild, let's say, cancer. Usually it is in a brain or in spinal, and it suggests that intermittent fasting can suppress tumor growth and extend survival. And then it also can reduce toxicity and facilitate effect of chemotherapy. We know that if a patient have chemotherapy, they need to take many type of drugs, that we can observe that mostly they will lose their hair, and then their skin also will change, and etc. And by fasting, according to this study, it can reduce toxicity and facilitate effective of the chemotherapy itself. Not only to that, intermittent fasting also can affect positively to the mental health. Let's see. It can improve mood in chronic pain patient. As we know that chronic pain patient, mostly they do not only have the pain itself, but also have other related to the mental health issue, including mood, depression, for example, anxiety, because I did some research about the chronic pain patient, particularly in fibromyalgia, chronic back pain, low back pain, and also osteoarthritis. They have this type of mental health issue. And then according to this Michelson, that intermittent fasting can improve mood in chronic pain patients, and also it can improve the depression and sleep quality in obese or overweight patients. And then this is the study implementing Daud fasting, just like alternative day fasting, today doing fasting, and then next day not, and then fasting again, like that. This was studied in Indonesia, I think, so it can decrease the anxiety in pre-elderly and elderly people. Nah, maybe some of you are questioning me now. Why did we do Ramadan fasting in Germany? Actually, as we know that people, particularly in Germany or maybe in general in Europe, they are quite logic in thinking, because I have been here quite long. And then at the time, we are facing the highest peak season of summertime, which means the fasting period will be long. It can be until 19 hours, particularly in the city of Hanover per day. That's why, to answer the questions that my colleagues, neighbor, or friends about the Ramadan, why we do Ramadan, we need some evidence-based study, and then it will be objectively answer the questions based on this evidence. Actually, we did the study, as mentioned before, 2 times. One in 2015, which only included young healthy males. The fasting itself was 18 to 19 hours per day. So it is quite long as compared to the other country, particularly in the south of Germany. But to the north, of course, it will be longer. This study has been published in different journal. Actually, the first one related to the effect of Ramadan fasting on mood, fatigue, sleepiness, health-related quality of life. And then how about to the marker itself, for example, brain-derived neurotrophic factor and creatinine. And then here to the cytokines. And then another study related to the autophagy activation. Now the paper is under review. I hope it will be published soon. Let's make a dua for this one. And then for this study, this is how we did the study. We know the Ramadan is 1 month, 29 or 30 days. And then we invited the participants to come to our department, rehabilitation medicine in Hanover Medical School at the time, 1 week before Ramadan fasting itself. It means between day 6 to day 8 before Ramadan. And then the Ramadan starting, and then in the mid of Ramadan, we asked them to come again. It was between 15 to 16 days of Ramadan fasting day. And then at the end, before the end of the Ramadan, we invited them again. And then we also would like to see the effect. If this Ramadan effect can also take a longer than only until before the end of Ramadan. So we ask participants to come again 1 week after Ramadan fasting. This is how we recruited the flow chart of the recruitment. We had 2 groups at the time, fasting group and non-fasting group. We have 4 time points as mentioned before, but in non-fasting group, we only had 2 time points, T1 and T3. So 1 week before Ramadan and at the end of Ramadan. Of course, they did not do fasting. In the end, we only included 25 participants in the data analysis. And then here is the first result that I would like to show you. Actually, we have many data related to the body composition parameters, but I would like to show you only 3 types here. If you want to see, it is already published in the journal. It is available online. So, body weight, BMI, and skeletal muscle mass. In the body weight, if you can see here, FG is fasting group. It decreased until the end of Ramadan, around 1.7 kilogram. Remember, these all are healthy young males, and mostly they are in the normal range of BMI or body mass index here. But and then 1 week after Ramadan, it is a little bit increased, but still significantly different as compared to the before Ramadan. And then in non-fasting group, they increase their body weight. Yeah, this is quite interesting. They do not do fasting, but they increase their body weight. And then if we try to compare between the T1 at the T1 of the fasting group and non-fasting group and T3 fasting group and fasting group, there was no significant difference. Yeah. And then this also reflected in the BMI, that the BMI also decreased in the fasting group. Yeah, it is quite interesting. And then this is the one that I did not expect, that a skeletal muscle mass decrease in the fasting group. But don't worry, because 1 week after Ramadan, it again come back to the baseline value or before the Ramadan itself. Yeah. But no significant difference if we compare the fasting group and non-fasting group. Yeah. Now, effect of fasting on fatigue. Because we know that many people questioning about how the fatigue itself, the tiredness. So we also measure the fatigue using two different tools. The first one here on the first book is visual analog scale. The second one is a fatigue severity scale. In the fatigue analog scale, or VAS, it increased at time point to the mid of Ramadan. Of course, maybe it is the adaptation period of the fasting, yeah, but it again decrease here. The lower the value here means the tiredness or the fatigue is lower, and it can also still felt by the participant until the time point 4. By using the fatigue severity scale, the fatigue kept decreasing here until 1 week after Ramadan. And then let's go to the mood and sleepiness, because we knew before that Ramadan fasting also could influence the mood and mental health issue. So here we use BDI-2, Back Depression Inventory. This is one type of psychometric tools to measure mood and depression, yeah, this type of issue. And then we could see that it's so significant different until 1 week after Ramadan, particularly when we compare with the T2 here. Meanwhile, the sleepiness also kept improving. So the mood and sleepiness, the lower the value, it means it is getting better, it is improving. Yeah. Yeah. And then we also measure creatinine. What is creatinine? Creatinine is one of the markers that usually used to monitor the kidney performance or the health of the kidney. Yeah, because many people asking, maybe without food is still fine. How about without water for such long time, for 19 hours per day, for example? So that's why we measure the health of the kidney by using marker of creatinine. Here we can see at time point 2 it increased, but it is still a little bit, and it is still in health tolerance value. And at the end of Ramadan, it came back to the value to before Ramadan, or T1, or baseline, and also it's still the same as after Ramadan. So from this data, we can conclude the kidneys health in young healthy males still under control during long Ramadan fasting. This is another type of the parameter, which is called effect of fasting on cytokines. Cytokines is a type of the molecule that are available in the body. Yeah, maybe many of you knows about the cytokine storm because of the COVID-19 infection. Yeah. There are many types of cytokines. We only measure here 6 cytokines. This is just to reflect what the effect of the Ramadan fasting on the cytokines. Unfortunately, because this study was performed in the healthy young male, so the significant effect of this fasting only could see in the interleukin-1 beta, the other not really significant. However, in other study, it showed the decrease of pro-inflammatory cytokines, particularly when they measure in the obese or overweight patients. Now, I would like to show you the result of the Ramadan fasting where we did in 2017. It was done in 2017, and the duration of the fasting itself was between 17 and 18 hours per day. So this study also already published some of the paper, for example, this one, and then this one also related to the mostly to the biological parameter, cortisol, Benedictine factor, and other. And then the third article we are now still writing. I hope it will be finished soon. And then I was also asked by my friends from Bahrain and Saudi Arabia to be involved in their study related to the Ramadan fasting improves body composition without exacerbating depression in males with diagnosed major depressive disorder. It's already published. This is not my own study, but our colleagues in Bahrain who did it, Dr. Haitham Jahrami. And then for this study, it is a little bit different with the previous one. If previous one we only did until T4, 1 week after Ramadan fasting, we would like to see whether it can still have effect until T5, which means 1 month after Ramadan fasting. The difference with the previous study was, in this study, we included males and females, but all healthy and young. And then, of course, without a non-fasting group, because in the previous study, we saw no significant difference between fasting and non-fasting group. And then the other difference is because the fasting period was shorter. And then if we take a look in the body weight and the body mass index, we also could see the decrease significantly in all gender here. Yeah. And then if we try to do subgroup analysis according to the gender, male and female, we could see that the male only decreased body weight until the end of Ramadan, yeah, before the end of the Ramadan. Meanwhile, the female could still increase significantly different until 1 month of Ramadan. This also reflected in the body mass index value. And then in the skeletal muscle mass, we can see that the skeletal mass, muscle mass of participants also decreased until T4. However, if we take a look into the, based on the gender, only in female that show significantly different. This is interesting. Previously, in previous study, the male decreased, but in this study, no. Maybe because in this second study, because the duration of the fasting only 17 hours, meanwhile in the previous study quite longer than this one. So maybe the metabolism of the body different, the reaction of the body different as compared to the longer fasting, more than 17 hours. And then I would like to show you the effect of fasting on fatigue, because I also show you the fatigue, yeah, in previous one, but in the previous study we only saw in the morning. So the analysis only in the morning only, and then this one was done in the morning, afternoon, and evening. This is the pattern. It is quite interesting. The morning, yes, it was still the same as previous study, but after 1 month, it back to the normal value here. But it is very much different in the afternoon and evening, and the pattern for the afternoon and evening quite the same. So we also measure the anxiety, depression. Yeah, here we could see the anxiety also decrease, particularly when we try to do subgroup analysis according to the gender, male and female, and the depression that was measured by BDI2 score, it decreased, but not in the HADSD score, because this is two different assessment tool. And I knew that psychiatrist or my colleague here in Hanover Medical School said the BDI score is more sensitive actually. And then we also measure the some of the biological parameters like cortisol, BDNF, interleukin-8, IGF-1, MMP9, myoglobin. And for cortisol, I think many of us already quite familiar, I hope. Yeah, it is related to the stress hormone level. So here, because also we can see that at T4 or 1 week after Ramadan, the cortisol level decrease. And it is also almost similar to the depression and mood that I already showed you before. And then BDNF is also almost similar, but actually BDNF it is a biological marker that studied mostly related to the neurological disorder like major depressive disorder, chronic pain patients, and etc. And it also so decrease. And then maybe I will not explain all of these biological parameters. It will be a little bit confusing, but let's say shortly, interleukin-8, IGF-1, MMP9 related to the food intake, also MMP9 even also related to the cancer, for example, and it also decreased. And then meanwhile, myoglobin, because previously I showed you that skeletal muscle mass decreased during Ramadan fasting, and we could see that myoglobin that can be used as a marker for the muscle, it also reduced as compared to the before Ramadan at the end of Ramadan here. Yeah, here is just to show you in different gender. Also, we could see the differences how this biological marker in the body because of the fasting itself. So in the end, I would like to conclude that intermittent fasting, Ramadan fasting show benefit in healthy young people in these two studies, yeah. But I also already showed you in several introduction before that the fasting also could give improvement in different type of health conditions. Many publication is already there, are already there. So, but for the safe issue, if you would like to perform and if you are sick, if you would like to perform Ramadan fasting, please, or other type of fasting, please consult with your general practitioner or your physicians, and then keep control your health condition during the fasting. So I hope this give you insight about the effect of fasting, particularly Ramadan fasting, into your health. So thank you very much.